Hi, Jeff. How are you? What's up? What's new? Have you seen the John Wayne Gacy tapes on Netflix? I started that alone in the dark last night and I'm terrified. Anyways, what's new? I don't know how time is there, but time here is flying. I know I just look like I woke up, which I did. Hi, Richard. How are you? Yeah, Jeff. He was a killer from Chicago, but the documentary is very well done. But it absolutely terrified me because they have these people recounting their interactions with him, and you feel like you're there. Hello, Richard. We're talking about. I don't know if you've seen the documentary on Netflix, this John Wayne Gacy documentary, but it's absolutely terrifying. You haven't? No, you should watch it if you get a chance. It's actually I'm only on episode 2, but from what I've seen so far, it's good. By the way, Richard, is Worst Person in the World on HBO Max there or no? Clowns are scary, especially. I didn't realize he was just like in the neighborhood. He was a monster in plain sight. So Worst Person in the World is not there. What about any of Pedro? I can't say his last name, but I think I know. I think you know who I'm talking about. Pedro, the Spanish director, the one that always works with Cruz. Any of his movies on demand there, like The Skin I Live In or Volver, because the things that we have here and the things you guys have there are like two different two different things. Yeah, Jeff, we do. I need to host that live stream. Yeah, Jeff, you were an OG, right? You were here during the time of the Netflix true crime documentaries. But the thing is, Jeff, like I need to do some research. Maybe you guys can. Yes, Richard, that director. The Skin I Live In, anything like if you could if you have time, The Skin I Live In, if it's there, would be nice. But just if he even has Voltaire, that would be good. Jeff, the thing is like it would not be on YouTube. I would need to find a different avenue, maybe Twitch or Discord. Because I've gotten messages with people being like, you need to host these on something else. I think for the movie nights, it's on YouTube is okay, but for just chilling, Jeff, I need to find another platform that's like more, I don't know. That I have to like plan. And the thing is, I actually do have time now because here is Ramadan, so we're not doing much, to be honest. Jeff, I think I took it seriously around the time of the pandemic. You're a true OG, yeah. You're the never forget. There should be like banners that you could assign people, like OG banners. That way, when they enter the room, they just have like special privileges. They can kick people out, lock people in. Like I got pretty lucky with this show, My Brilliant Friend, because it's gotten views. So now I need to like get back on the regular reviews. But I've been working on this review of Parasite for like 2 weeks now, and it's been taking up so much of my time. Like it's crazy. There's so much research and things that need to go into it, and at the same time, like there's so much crap coming out. Is anyone watching Moon Knight? It's so boring. I tried to get into it, but I couldn't do it. I tried watching it twice. I couldn't do it. Oh, Richard, they don't have The Skin I Live In. Jeff, the best thing to do is just to start. In terms of figuring out your lane, the way I thought about it is what is something I will always have content on, like something that I can always talk about. And so for movies and TV, like it's easy, there's always content. You can even niche it down, like if someone just had a true crime channel, they would be getting views on views on views. But try to think of content that you won't run out of content. And then from there, you can just start. Because the content is the hardest part. You need something that'll always have something to talk about. But Jeff, the best way is just to start because talk about starting from the bottom, like how you sound and then how you actually sound. And then once you start, You're gonna be like, that's what I sound like that. Like, why? What's happening here? Like you'll start doing weird things just randomly, and eventually, like things will work out. But it takes like 25 to 30 videos, I think, before you're even comfortable. Like in my experience, like it takes a while. But yeah, the content is the most important. Even if you can't like churn it out like all the time. Because there are some YouTubers, I'm like, how are you reviewing all this stuff so relentlessly? Like, I need to do better. But they don't run out of content. There's always something. But it also has to be something that you don't mind talking about. Richard, what are you watching these days? What's new? I'm trying to find something new because my brilliant friend is over. And so, I need to find a way to keep that momentum going. But I don't see anything coming out besides true crime documentaries, the tapes of Marilyn Monroe, like random stuff. Also, Richard, have you heard that Netflix is basically in the red? We own City on HBO coverage. Ooh, let me see. We own this. Oh, John. Oh, I like him. John, you know who I'm talking about? The Punisher guy is in it. Policing is going wrong in the drug war. Ooh. First episode is this weekend. Oh, Richard, good looking out. I'm gonna watch it. The first episode is on April 25th. Yeah, and losing subscribers. It lost so many subscribers. Like it's in like apparently each episode of Stranger Things. Yes, Richard, that guy. That guy is really good. I don't know if you've seen The Punisher on Netflix. This is why Netflix is getting canceled. They cancel all the wrong shows. But yeah, Netflix is losing subscribers. Apparently, each episode of Stranger Things costs $30 million. Like, what are they spending their money on? But I'm not surprised. There's just too much crap on there. Netflix started off true crimes place. And then they just started investing in everything in their mother. 30 million. Imagine losing like that many subscribers. And I think it's because of password sharing, but I don't think that's true. It might be. Yeah, they're raising subscription prices and the quality of their content is just not good enough to be paying, HBO Max prices. And the movies that you do want, they don't even have on there. It's like they license all the wrong things. And maybe Netflix in the US is better, but here, they're definitely scamming. Yeah, Richard, they're bringing back the commercials. I think that would be a good option, just because like there's nothing to justify them raising the price. Besides, they need to handle their budget like better. They overspend. I'm actually excited for the show now. We own the city. I saw him doing interviews, but I didn't know for what. It was for this. Yeah, Tubi. Tubi's good. They have some gems on there for free. Exactly. There's a few Nicolas Cage movies on there that I really liked. Like really obscure movies that, yeah. No, Tubi is basically Netflix for free. And once they introduce the lower tier option with ads, it'll basically be Tubi. Yeah, I liked the first season, but it didn't need to go on for that many seasons. You know, it became like it became too much. Me too, Jeff. I like random stuff. Also, Richard, even the content there sucks. I just assumed it sucks here because it's overseas, but if you're saying it's bad there, but they lost a crazy amount. And people kept pulling out. Investors are pulling out. They're kind of in like an emergency situation. Have you guys seen Tokyo Vice? It's okay. It's not terrible. And that's what, yeah. The binging thing depends on the show. Like I think it works for true crime, but the thing is Netflix. Like if their library was better, like apparently I don't know if you guys remember 365 and that whole debacle. Apparently there's a sequel to that movie. I mean, this is why they're losing money. It's just they kind of like have these clickbaity. I don't know. Cam, how are you? So happy you're here. What's new? We're talking about we're talking about how Netflix is going down in flames. Tokyo Vice is fun, Richard. It's not the best. Like after the first episode, the quality decreases, but it's okay. I didn't mind it too much. Cam, what's up? We're talking about Netflix and true crime. I've been telling them to watch the John Wayne Gacy documentary. I watched it alone in the dark yesterday, and now I'm scared. That's the thing, Cam. I don't use Netflix as much as I think I use Netflix. Like everybody has Netflix, it's a staple. And then the pricing is not something we thought about until they because they keep increasing it. So now it's like that's the thing. I don't use it as much. That's a good question. How often do you guys use Netflix? Oh, Cam, did you like the dropout? Jeff, thank you for dropping by. I'll definitely consider what you said in terms of discussion. Like, I'll figure it out, Jeff. I promise. If it's the last thing I do. Bye, OG Jeff. Yeah, Cam, that's a good description. It's like a flash in a pan. Like something like Squid Games will come out, and then we'll all binge it, and then we'll put it away for a while, and then something else will come out, and then we'll put it away for a while. And they don't have like enough consistently good stuff. For example, like something like HBO Max, you would use a lot more than you would Netflix. Just because Netflix is just 90% of the stuff you don't watch. And then it just depends on what's coming out that week. Oh, good. I'm so happy you liked it. What did you think of Amanda Seyfried's performance? Yeah, Jeff, just start. Don't think. The longer you think about it, like it's going to take you a long time to get settled into it. Exactly, Richard. Scrolling and searching. I don't know if they have this option there where it's like surprise me or like they'll pick the thing for you and they always pick something terrible. I don't know. Netflix is like stuff in the background. It's like if you're doing laundry or you're doing, it's just you put something in the background. Yeah, Cam, because Elizabeth Theranos is such a weird person to reenact. But what did you think of Elizabeth's like the performance of Sunny, her her Lady Macbeth? Yeah, Richard, maybe they don't have it there, or maybe they took it away. But here they have that option, and it was just it ain't it. And then they started investing in like random movies from other countries, but it was all the wrong movies. Like I don't know if you guys have Nollywood there, which is like Nigerian film, but they're terrible. Like it just here we just had like a whole selection of just films from Nigeria, but they were all really bad. Oh, Kim, Sunny, you didn't like Sunny. You know that actor was in Lost. He came a long way. You didn't like him. Why? Did you hate him more than Elizabeth? Or were you like kind of neutral towards Elizabeth? I think Elizabeth was psychotic. Like she really believed, I don't think she thought she was scamming. I think she thought like can make this happen. Yeah, Cam, he was gross, you know? I know what you mean. He was just like gross, but at the same time like he complimented Elizabeth so well. At the end when Elizabeth was walking out and her lawyer was berating her, oh my god, the lack of shame. They are two sides of the same coin. They personified that. They really were. I also like that little boy's performance from 13 Reasons Why. He did very well. You know, I need to do a review of The Dropout because Cam, if you get a chance, there's a documentary too. What is it called? In Blood. Oh yes, that's true. Elizabeth and the whistleblower. You know, because of Elizabeth, I was reading that so many women in Silicon Valley or like in tech, like she really messed everybody up. So Cam, there's a documentary, even though the show is better than the documentary, called The Inventor Out for Blood. It gives good context, but the introduction of the Schultz nephew. Yeah, she was really young. Yeah, I think the documentary, let me type it out. The Inventor Out for Blood. Yeah, I think Cam, what threw you off is what Richard is saying. She's great, but she can't play 19. It was a bit much, wasn't it? But it's so weird. As you watch the show, you do get used to her on screen. Her oversized clothes, her, I don't know, her dried out hair. There's just so much going on. Right, Cam? Like, it was the whole aesthetic. It was like, I just wanted to put moisturizer. I don't know. There was just a lot going on. The Steve Jobs thing, that's why I say she's psychotic, because she had an obsession with this man. You know, like dressing up like him. I think she's crazy because she really was inspired by him. I think genuinely, and she liked the idea of doing great things, but she was more concerned with like the appearance of it rather than the reality. I think she really thought at some point like everything would just work itself out. She had a child look on trial. Yeah, she's dating some other rich. She got out clean, in my opinion. It's her trial is over though, right? Like they're waiting for her sentencing now. It's Sunny's trial that started. Yeah, he's like a father figure, this oracle, this kind of her Neo, like, or her Morpheus, I mean. You know, she's a good representation of a lot of things nowadays. You know, like you have this person telling you you can do all these things, but just the reality of it, like it's so hollow. You know, she was such a fake expert. I don't think she's going to jail, Richard. I would be shocked if she went to jail. I think the baby helps, but she's definitely getting off clean. Do you think there's a chance she would go to jail? That would be crazy if they sentenced her to prison. Delusion was Yeah, delusion was the backbone. And the fact that she convinced all these old men to give their money, whew. And there were so many times along the way where people were like, "This is highly suspect." Like Walgreens, that whole scene with Walgreens, when that one guy was like, "Does anybody else think this bitch is crazy?" Like, as if. Oh yeah, the money part. Like she scammed a lot of people. She scammed a lot of powerful people. That's why she might go to jail. She's so like she's a quick one. Cam, the way it like spiraled out of control too, like the way that she was able to like postpone these wellness centers and they just didn't think they let her postpone it like that. I was like, you're really taking her word for this. Like if this was just a show that someone created, I would not believe it. But the fact that it was based on real life, the truth is stranger than fiction. I also noticed in the big headshot posters. Oh, interesting. I didn't take note of that. She did play C. Yeah, that scene when Walgreens was there and then CVS was there, and they played the game, and I think a lot of the reason she was able to do that was with the help of Sunny. You know, like she could not have orchestrated all that by herself. That shot, that famous ad of her looking like Steve Jobs and her face is like, you think they made eyes bluer? Interesting. I didn't notice that, but that's a good observation. Like I don't think without Sunny she could have made it as far. Like she was definitely like she was limited. Okay, Cam. No worries. Sunny was more. Yeah, yeah. Elizabeth was almost. Did you say autistic? So he was a people person, and he had more experience in business, and he kind of knew how to get people to do what they needed to do in the business world. You know, as he kept saying, he had a company and he sold it for how much? 40 billion. I mean, he was good. He was retired. He was living his best life, and then he met Elizabeth. Yeah, Elizabeth was too awkward. There's no way she would have made it as far if it wasn't for him. It was so creepy. And she was so like naive and gullible. P.S. Beloved, how are you? No worries. Just even if the connection fails, as long as you're able to watch. P.S. Beloved, what's up? We're talking about how Netflix is going down in flames, how creepy Elizabeth Theranos' story is. Oh, we're talking about that. Have you seen The Dropout, P.S. Beloved? But she played Sunny too. Richard, it was a weird relationship because I think, as you said, she was really young and naive. And the show portrays it. It's like they were both using each other. P.S. Beloved, have you seen The Dropout? If you can, watch it. It's so good. You'll just be shocked. You'll be like, it's the double standard for me. Also, P.S. Beloved, what do you think about Netflix going down in flames? Since they're broke. Not broke. I shouldn't say they're broke, but they're like desperate times. We were just talking about like how Netflix is losing subscribers and how we don't use Netflix as much as we think we do. See, P.S. Beloved, yeah. Same. I think most people like it's like the default account. I think for me, like I use Netflix, and then my family back home uses Netflix, even though it's my Netflix account. So we're not even in the same country, and we're sharing. But if it's the same family, then it should be okay. Imagine they actually crack down on this. I'd be horrified. Yeah, it's assumed you have Netflix. Remember when like they were a mail order service and everybody thought Blockbuster will never go under. Who would order a film through the mail? And now they're like, I think with Netflix is just the quality is terrible. Netflix comes knocking on your door. Like even looking at what's coming out on Netflix, I mean, it's just all horrifying. Like Ozark is good. That's coming out. 365 days this date. Yeah, the password stuff. Yeah, because we were all saying we share passwords for people like who live in different parts of, you know what I mean? Like it's one account for the whole family. Last season of Ozark. It's going to be very good, I hope. Yeah, Blockbuster had a chance to buy out Netflix, but Netflix turned it down. Oh, they turned Netflix down. So Blockbuster turned Netflix down. Ooh. And now they're to the grave. See, the thing, Cam, is like Netflix has this thing where they have just enough shows coming out like consistently enough that you keep it. Like Squid Games came out, and that was hype. And then they'll have something like Ozark that'll come out that's really good. It's so poorly curated. That's the thing, PS Beloved. It's so poorly curated. It's poorly organized. Half of the stuff is just crap. It's like I don't know. It's like it's like a garage. I don't know. They just throw everything in there. So Cam, it's not one thing. It's like they have enough things that it's like, as you said, nobody watches it consistently. They just kind of wait to watch something. Yeah, Richard. It's with this movie, it doesn't make sense unless like I used to live in Arad in Saudi Arabia, like a small town similar to this. So a lot of what I saw in this is pretty like it's I thought it was accurate in some places. And the thing with Netflix, sorry, this is a side note before I go to the bathroom. Orange is the New Black. Yeah, that was a good one. That's the thing. The price increase is like is too much, especially if they crack down on these password sharing. Then it's just not worth the price. I think the problem with Netflix is they don't know when to quit. You know, they'll keep going until the last season. The thing is, PS Beloved, the Nigerian films, you gotta admit they're a mess. I mean, I feel like they got all the worst movies. I don't know, maybe in the US they have the good ones, but here, ooh, it's like I don't know, it's like I'm watching a bunch of rich people who are bored who said, "Let's make a movie," and then they got Nollywood. Is Wentworth I heard is good. You know what's interesting, Cam, is like Netflix here is super popular. Like everyone has Netflix. But the variety of stuff is limited, of course. But I don't know, maybe it's just like how they're again organizing things. Mary, how are you? Hey, Saudi gang is here. Saudi gang is here. Mary, what's up? Colleen, how are you? Today it's all about Saudi Arabia. We're gonna have some good this conversation. Mary, where in Saudi are you? Oh my God, Cam, Nollywood is a mess. Like it's just a mess. Like it's just a straight mess. Like there's some that are good, but they put all the bad ones on there. That's my issue. That like Netflix does not. Whoever is buying these films, you know, in charge of like, because I'm pretty sure that's a job. Like somebody has to go to these festivals and decide what they should buy. That person should be fired. Oh, the actress who plays, is she? Hmm. I'm from Jeddah. Okay, Mary, I have a question. I used to live in Arar. Do you know where Arar is? For 1 year. So, Mary, do you know where Arar is? Even the people at Saudi Airlines didn't know where Arar was. So, Richard, where Mary is from, Jeddah is like a beautiful place. It's more open. It's more relaxed. It's more fun. Okay, girl, Mary. Okay, so you have to admit some of the things in Wadjda when we watch it. I'm gonna comment on it. It is kind of like it's eerie, especially in a small town. Yeah, Mary, I'm in Oman, and it's I used to live in Saudi, and now I work here. But Mary, you have to like the small towns, like Arar. We have to have a conversation. We need to talk, Mary. No, people in Saudi are chill as well. People in the Middle East are chill, to be honest. Oh my God, Mary, the supermarket was so traumatizing. Like Arad has like a mall now, and they're getting an airport. Like it's getting more like I guess modern, and also in places like down south, like the hiking stuff is getting really nice there. Like it's getting more because Saudi is like Oman but on steroids in terms of wadis and adventures and like things like that. So I noticed there's more stuff to do now. Like Alula is really nice now. They made it a whole beautiful place where tourists can go. Hold on, guys. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom and come back. 1 second. Neon. What's neon? Or in Tabuk, Saudi Arabia. Ah, interesting. You know, a lot of these places they're trying to modernize, and they're doing a good job actually. So before we start, we got a few minutes. So there's a lot in this movie I think is fun, especially, you know, for people who haven't been. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the small towns because they're trying to modernize them to catch up and make them more tourist friendly as well. But these are like long projects. But they're doing a good job. So I think this is a fun movie night because like you'll all have questions. And I can only do my best to answer it. Like if Mary is still here or someone from Saudi. The thing is the time difference sucks. But yeah, it's fun because there's a lot of questions you're gonna have. And I live in a town small like this. So a lot of it was like for me, it made sense. But if I didn't have that experience, I'm not sure if this movie would make sense. But I think it'll be fun, something different, because it's one of those places where people have such a dark idea of it. But there's a lot to know. Cam, welcome back. Tabuk. It's a small place, right? It's not exactly. I don't know how to describe it. Like outside of like Dammam, Riyadh, Jeddah. I'm trying to think of other places that I would consider like big cities or big places. But it's like an old place. I don't know how to describe it. Like if you go to a place like Jeddah and then you go to Tabuk, you're gonna feel difference. Not, I guess when I say small city, I mean like kind of a village place. Yeah, everyone does know each other's business. Okay, guys, we'll start it now. I wish there was a way I could share pictures with you guys so you could see like where I worked and like what I wore and like why. That would be fun. Okay, guys, I'm gonna put on the timer. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are we pressing play? Let me know when you guys are ready, and I'll press play. Okay, Cam, this will be fun, but it's one of those where you're going to have questions. Okay, ready? Yes. I'm pressing play. Guys, coffee and tea is just life in the Middle East. Yeah, that was a picture of her dad. It's normal to have like pictures of your family, I guess, but you would think he was like a king based on that picture. In terms of like the niqab, like this is a really small town. So I used to wear the niqab when I was going to work, and there you didn't drive. You would get picked up because in a small town, like women just wouldn't drive. Now maybe it's changing a bit, but then it's just not something you would do. Yeah, that's her dad. So her dad probably works in the like the desert in the oil fields. That's why he's like kind of coming home like that. Or like he's I don't know how to describe it. Like he works in oil. I know people who here who work in the desert. I don't know what they do exactly. Like they're engineers. Um, but I'm not sure what the details of their job would be. Works in the oil fields. That was not correct. Works in the desert, probably for an oil and gas company. And the thing is, like, he works and she works. So a big misconception about the Middle East, they work, you know, like the average family, both people have to work. Yeah, teaching is a common profession. It's easy because the schools there are segregated. Even the universities. I taught at a university there. So the girls have one side, the boys have their own. Once you're in the school, you can wear whatever you want. So this is a girls' school. So they have uniforms, but for example, in university, like once you get into the campus, oh my god, they all turn into supermodels. The principal can wear what she wants. Also, I want you guys to notice how feminine she is. Like her hair is done, she has heels. Um, like that thing with the worker, it does happen where they kind of make these advances on you unsolicited. Oh yeah, no jewelry, gold. Like the women there are incredibly well dressed. The opposite is true too. Like the workers there, they'll work like all day. Like they change the laws a bit so that like during summertime they don't work during the day. But that really depends on where you are. I think in Qatar they said like 6,000 people died trying to make that stadium. Oh yeah, all the workers are foreign there. So in terms of construction, Richard, and these jobs, they're all Indian or from Bangladesh, maybe Nepal. Richard, you will not see anyone local doing these jobs, like that type of construction job. Yeah. So the Saudi Real is pretty good if you're American. It's definitely better than the Omani Real, which is much higher. Okay, yeah, a lot of people from Nepal work in the Middle East, and they do these really difficult jobs, and it's tough. You're working in the heat, your living quarters, like you're sharing space. It's rough. Sometimes your pay is not what they promised. So she wants to buy this bike, and she needs to figure out how to make money. So her mom was like, absolutely not. Like, you're a headache. There were male construction workers, so everybody went inside. Wadjda didn't. And now she's about to get it. So apparently her principal has a boyfriend or someone that keeps seeing her. No, it wasn't Amir's brother. Like these shops, like I'm having flashbacks. They're so tiny and the thing is you can always negotiate the price, which is nice. Oh my god, her mom is so pretty. And the thing is, there's so many young moms. Like the population there is young in terms of like kids. So they really are this beautiful. That's the thing. Also, Saudi food is amazing. Her mom is so girly, and her daughter is such a tomboy, and it just drives her crazy. Like the women there are very feminine, very, very feminine. Like makeup, hair done. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like you're like, damn. Like it's such a small town that it's almost impossible to hide secrets as hard as you try. Similar to what he was playing, or it just reminded you. So Richard, you can't tell him, otherwise he's going to be like, no. You can barely tell her mom. Like, I don't know if he would say no to the bike, but he would. Oh, actually, it's the same game. Nice. Video game life is. I think video games are big everywhere. Video games and Netflix. That's a crazy coincidence. So the principal basically snitched on Wadjda for like selling contraband on school grounds, and her mom just gave it to her. Two families, yeah. So basically, it's a bit odd that she only has one daughter, and so it seems like Wajda's mom, like she can't really, she had a hard time, and so basically his family's like, you need to get married again, have a second wife to have more kids. Yeah, yeah. So he's a foreign driver. This thing about drivers is so true because most people in a small town, like you would need a driver because you don't really have Uber. But the relationship between driver and passenger is just so tense there. It's funny. Oh no, P.S. Beloved. She needs a nice dress because he's actually thinking of marrying another woman because she can't give birth to more kids. Richard, the driver thing, like, is common. If you go to a small town, if you go to like Riyadh or Jeddah, there is Uber. But a place like this, you would need a driver, and they're foreign drivers. Illegal, like it's just a private driver that they pay. Yeah, Richard. I think I think you're right. Because this wedding that she's preparing for, if I have you correct, that's where he meets wife number two. Also, this part here, there are no change rooms. So if you want to try it on, they'll like give you the item. You go to the bathroom, you try it on, and then you bring it back. You know, you're not going to steal it. And if you need to make adjustments or whatever, they can sort it out. So that's why she's in the bathroom and not in the store. She doesn't want anyone taking her bike. So this Quran memorizing contest, just think of it as like a spelling bee almost, except they're memorizing verses. Richard, I wish I could add to that, but I cannot. She's arguing with her driver because he wants to be paid. And that's common. You know, sometimes people don't get paid what they're promised, or like everything's a negotiation there. So, Richard, expand on the question. The thing, P.S. Beloved, with the driver, it's weird because they're all kind of the same, you know? Because he's moody because maybe she doesn't pay him on time, or he's always late. And the thing is, P.S. Beloved, most drivers, they have other customers. So if she takes a long time, he has to go pick someone up. So oftentimes they share drivers. So it's a bit difficult, and it's such a small town that even if you changed, you'd have the same problems. So this is kind of messed up. He quit because I guess she didn't pay him or something. And they threatened him with his work visa. So again, there's a lot of illegal work. So driving, maybe his residence card says one thing, but he makes money another way. That mug was like, it was just a picture of this girl wearing in a cab with her kid, and it was made in China. You mean Cam, that little boy? Yeah, the little boy really has her back. So Richard, it was just something that came to your mind, yeah? And then you were just thinking, like as you were watching this movie. Also, this thing about elections, each town, there's usually a predominant family. So the idea of elections is a bit silly. So her friend says, "Come work at the hospital with me." And Wadjda's mom was like, "No, my husband's too jealous." But yeah, it depends on the family. If you want to work in, there's not a lot of co-ed environments in these small places, like maybe hospitals. I can't really think of anything else. Banks, some banks. I remember in Arad, where I was, even the banks were segregated. There was like a woman's side and a man's side. She's such a scammer. The whole period thing is true. Like if you have your period, you can't fast either. Wadjda is a hustler. And the thing is, like, you can get hustled hard in the Middle East. Like, they are the greatest salesmen. Like, even those bracelets she was selling, she's like, I slaved all day for it. The whole riding bikes thing is weird because I've heard it in so many contexts in different cultures where like riding a bike is bad. She's such a scammer. So it's difficult for her, but she continues to study. She's an example for everyone. I really like the principal. So Richard, I'll explain. Okay. So I used to work at an all-girls university, and when they came in, there was like metal detectors and people checking their bags for stuff, and they were checking for a lot of them being toys and things. So what these girls are accused of, it's actually quite it's not far-fetched, you know. And that's the thing. Like when I used to work on this campus, like sometimes I can tell which girls were friends, like holding hands, and which girls were like together, you know? So this is actually it's a thing. The whole flowers to school thing and love letters, it's so common. You know, like I used to get letters and flowers, but it was like there's a difference between I love you and I love you, you know? But they're very affectionate, and that affection is it's hard to tell. And the thing is, like, for sure there was on, not between them, but just in general. But it's like there's nothing else to do. Like, I remember when I first noticed it and my coworker told me, I was shocked. I was like, they do what? They're checking for what? Like, my jaw dropped. That's probably why they're a bit bothered by Wadjda. Like, she kind of exhibits, I don't know, the converse, the attitude. Yeah. So it's Wadjda that needs to change, not the restrictions. That's exactly right, Cam. That's why even her family's like, can you just blend in? That's true in a lot of places. Like the men and women would eat separately, you know, unless it's within your family, I guess. But he has people over, so. I don't think that was leftovers. I think she just, I would have to watch it again, but I think she just kind of kept a portion to the side for them. Because is that the room they were in? Because they would have separate, like they're eating their lunch and they're eating theirs. Yeah, she wouldn't be eating the leftovers. No, she would have just made a separate portion for them. She told her not to leave the Quran open because the devil might go in. So now she's in the hospital looking for a job. But watch her. Her hijab is loose. Her face is not covered. She's like, come through. I got you. Her mom is like, absolutely not. The mom is scandalized indeed. And that guy just looks like he's a willing participant. Yo, I actually love her mom. Like, she's so funny and savage at the same time. She's like, the devil has got you. I'm leaving. Her reactions are the best. So I think this is the election for that kid's uncle. Yes, with the big mustache. You mean with them on the balcony camp? Oh, that's a good question, Richard. It couldn't have been the boy. Also, Cam, yeah, she really loves her husband. And the thing is, if this was a traditional marriage, you know, he wants kids. Even though he shouldn't have kids if he can't take care of both families. All right, moment of truth. Cam, which part? Some of the part where they're like, she just gave an amazing. Yeah, she looks proud. You mean the principal, Cam? Yeah, the principal thinks she really changed her. Like, she talked some sense into her. So she's buying a bike and she knows how to ride a bike. Her principal's horrified. I don't know why Wadjda told her raggedy principal. Oh, that money is flying. This principal is like projecting. Yeah, thief, exactly, Richard. The irony. She's the thief. The thing is, like, Wadjda was honest about it. She didn't lie. Right, Cam? Like the sass? Like that kind of like polite comeback where it's like, yeah, I sensed her mother in her as well. And also the look that Wadjda gave her principal at the end before walking away. I actually like this little boy. She wanted to tell him, but she's tired. Cam, the principal really played herself. Yeah, Richard, she cut her hair, which is a big thing because hair is like a sign of beauty, especially there. Like the longer your hair, the better. I really like the end. Yeah, exactly, Richard. That's why she was always straightening it every morning. And it's really hard to straighten long hair. So it's not his uncle's wedding. That's why her dad was dressed like that. He's getting married again. She used the money for the dress. Yeah. She did her best, and now she's like, you know what? I'm done pleasing other people. Her mom went best mom. She used the money for the dress to buy her daughter the wife. Even though she didn't fully agree with it, she's just like, you know what? Let me change the, let me make her happy. Like, you don't need their money. Oh. I don't know why that scene with her mom made me laugh. And now they can ride their bikes together. Even the shopkeeper's like, good for you. He can't keep up with her. He's trying. Yeah. Like the mom tries her best. You know, she gives her daughter freedom, even though they're not the same. You know, like her mom is very girly, very into makeup. She would never wear Converse. But still, she like roots for her daughter low key. Uh, I don't know. I thought it was nice. P.S. Beloved, what did you think? Like I thought everyone, like her mom balanced like this kind of like she's not mean. She just like sassy, you know? But she's also like Wadjda is just as stubborn as her mom, which is why she loves her. You know, like they share so many common traits that makes them also like, you know, butt heads. Can't oh look who dropped by. Daniel, good evening, good night. I hope you're here to give me your review of Squid Games. Thank you, Cam. Cam, I'm glad you liked it. I tried to pick something a little more lighthearted, but at least we could, you know, talk about, you know, Daniel. We're coming in on you soon. PS Beloved. Thank you. Yeah, because you know, after Divines, there's no way we could watch another like depressing. You know the thing about the second wife? That's the thing. Like, was it So it seemed like it was the way the dad was framing it. It was his mother that wanted him to get remarried. And it is true. Like the moms in the families have a lot of power, but at the same time, like, did he have to get married again? Oh, for real, Daniel? Did you actually watch Squid Games? Daniel, you were missing, and you missed the one time we watched a lighthearted movie. It all goes downhill from here. Never forget, Daniel. Daniel, listen. There's a time and a place, and this is the time and the place. Yeah, I'm glad you guys felt good in the end. I wasn't sure about this one, but I don't know. I thought it would make yes, Cam. It's a nice parallel to the last movie. I don't know. I'm interested. Like, oh, Daniel came some fighting words. Listen, I'm a do as you say, not as I do person, Daniel. I was gonna call you out on the night before, saying I'm waiting for my review. Daniel, you missed a lot. You missed our discussion on Netflix about a future city in Saudi Arabia, our conversations about Saudi Arabia. It was actually popping. What did you guys think about how Saudi Arabia was portrayed in comparison to maybe what you guys think of the place coming in, or just think of the place in general? Daniel, it was the one feel good movie. Everybody was smiling at the end. Unlike last 2 weeks ago when we were all traumatized. I had some idea and then looked it up. So, Richard, what did you look up? Like in terms of like some of the references, or just why certain things were being done in a certain way? P.S. Beloved, what about you? Cam, what about you? How did you think of like how the place was portrayed? Daniel, I think you would enjoy this movie Wadjda because it's a very small budgeted film, but the storytelling is really nice in terms of like how to keep a story like simple but yet entertaining, and also in terms of casting. Yeah, Cam, it's like you see all the personalities. The age of marriage, yeah, it's quite young. Like I'm 30 and I have coworkers who have like 3 or 4 kids. You know, I don't know if you guys clocked it, but one of her classmates was getting married. Yeah, Richard, it's kind of it changed. Again, it depends on where you are in Saudi. Like in these kind of smaller places, it's a bit, it's changing, but they still got a long way to go. But a place like Jeddah or Riyadh, it's more modern. Like you wouldn't see people wearing niqabs or. Yeah, Richard, she was quite young, and I want to say that's far fetched, but I can't because she's not in high school, if I'm correct. She's still in like. Yeah, she brought pictures. That scene, it shows you kind of the tension, I think, between like them wanting to modernize and then this very deep, like deep rooted, there's a lot of stuff there that kind of live side by side. It's like on one hand, you're moving into the future, and then on the other hand, you're, in the dark ages. Oh, that's a good question. Like who crumpled up what is his name? I don't know. I hope it wasn't her dad who took it off. If I don't think it was her mom. Maybe it was her mom. Oh, the religious police. Okay, that's actually true. But I think they moved it recently. Like, I don't think the religious police exist. But it is true. Like, so you have regular police and then you have religious police. And you would know because their car would have like an eye. At least this is true in Arad. And they would kind of look out for people not, I don't know, for example, if you were like holding hands with someone that they didn't look like your family or uh, just trying to uphold like morals, if people were dressed in a certain way or things like this. But they I think they recently removed the moral police, like it no longer exists. But it exists like maybe 2019, 2020 they took it away. But Richard, the religious police is a thing, or was a thing. Yeah, her mom was extra saucy. I love the mom, the principal, like they all have their these looks on their faces, like ah, like Cam. Her mom was the perfect blend of like feminine but sassy, but still I don't know. Like that scene when she comes to the school and Wadjda sees her mom, and then her mom gives it to her afterwards for like bringing contraband into onto campus was so funny. Like her mom's facial expressions were just everything. She's like, ah, oh, what did she do now? Apparently, the actress who plays Wadjda is an influencer now, like a major influencer. Let me check. Yeah, it probably was her mom who took it down. So the actress's name is Waad Mohammed. Is there anything that shocked you guys, or something that you were like, "Wow, what is happening here?" Ooh, so she's a major influencer. She has 2.1 million followers. She's an actress, singer, and influencer, and she is not wearing Converse. Yeah, Richard. Even where I was in Arad, there was no movie theater. I think maybe now they have one, but it's such a big deal, like going to the movies. And they're like luxury movie. You know what I mean? Like they're not just theaters. They're like an experience. Yeah, even the theaters are new. Like there's still plenty of places that don't have them, but the thing is, everyone has Netflix there. Like even in Arad, all my students, everyone, they all had Netflix. They've all seen every movie ever. No, so P.S. Beloved, he would add. There's no divorcing there. So she's the first wife, and now he married a second wife. Everybody has a side. Yeah, that's how they get all these programs. So P.S. Beloved, he would just add a second wife, and she would just kind of deal with it, you know. But they would not get divorced. It's crazy how big like social media is there. It's not clearly made in this film, but if they were to make a new film, it would be like people have crazy followers over here. Like Wad. So the actress who plays her is Wad, and I'm looking at her profile. Ooh, she has followers. Wedge, you have divorce, but would Wedge's mother get divorced or no? Because I don't think Wedge's mother would divorce her husband for having a second wife. It didn't look like they were getting divorced. But she has 2.1 million followers. Guys, she's major. She looks so different. Not so different, but she told Wadjda it's just me and you now. Also, maybe she did get divorced. Yeah, because she said it's just me and you now. Yeah. Because I thought that's why the father was looking for her, because he wanted to talk to her. I don't know about what. Right, Cam? She looks like talk about a glow up. Oh yeah, no, she's 25 now. How old is she? 22. She has some followers. Wesh, Hani, are you here? What do you think? Since you watched the movie, would her mom have divorced her husband, or would she have stayed in the marriage? Her only movie. You mean Wad Mohammed's only movie? I'm checking. Yeah, she only did Wadjda. And then she just went to social media. I wonder what else she does. The director, I think, did other stuff. Haifa Al Mansour. The only other movie I've heard about that she directed was The Perfect Candidate. But it seems like this director has a steady amount of work. Yeah, kind of sad she didn't continue with the acting. She was natural. It was like an effortless performance. And she has almost 1 million followers on TikTok. But yeah, what kind of so you guys are liking the selection so far? I see Mary Shelley. Yeah, Mary Shelley. She did Napoli Ever After as well, which was I think it was like a hit movie on Netflix with Sanaa Lathan. So she's working. Okay, PS Beloved, you love the selections. Good. I'm happy you guys like this one because it gives you a lot to talk about. Wedge, why did you hate the movie? Where in Saudi are you from? Like, tell me why you didn't like it. Yeah, Wedge, say more. So, Wedge, you're from Jeddah, but you don't think some parts of the movie, especially if you come from like a small place like Arar or something, is kind of accurate in some places? No, Wedge, that's fine. Yeah, but Wedge, do you think that because if you're from Jeddah, um, for example, because I used to work in Arad, and some of the stuff about the workers and the changing room stuff, the bike, right, is an exaggeration of it. But I don't know. Like, if you lived in a very small place, you don't think some of this would be like a little, like, there's some truth in it? I mean, definitely not if you're in Jeddah or Riyadh, but if you're, say, in a very small town, like Wedge explain. So Wedge, like for example, the parts of this. So I used to work in Arad. So the parts that I thought were like on point. So the stuff about the driver thing, the driver and Wedge's mom, I think is very accurate. I thought the stuff about like her relationship in school. So Wedge, do you remember that scene when those girls are caught for doing something they weren't doing? I don't know if you remember that scene, but basically they were caught and they were accused of doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing. Like I used to work at a university in Arad, and they used to check the bicycle thing. Yeah, the bicycle thing is the bicycle thing. No, but yeah, But do you think the bicycle thing was like a good metaphor though? Oh, the mixtape, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the mixtape thing was a bit bizarre. Yeah, for a car. But tell me what you think because like I had friends in Arad, like when I was working with them and they studied in the US, but they could drive, could do all these things. But when they went home to their small towns, like they didn't drive, you know. I don't know if it's changing now because they're getting airports and things, but I don't know. I thought that was an interesting, I guess, metaphor for the car. I mean, women would not be riding bicycles. I mean, they can, but I don't know if that just wouldn't like. Why would you? Her own goal of self-reliance. Wedge, what did you think of the mom-daughter relationship? Yeah, that okay. P.S. Beloved, the whole thing about the mixtape. Yeah, they would have like iPhones and they wouldn't have mixtapes. But maybe I'm not sure why they gave her a mix. Maybe it was to go with the aesthetic, but these kids would not be having mixtapes. So the car thing, I mean, some of the cars passing by were newer cars. Like you could kind of see like some Toyotas or some um like it was a mix because the car would belong to the driver. So if your driver is Indian or like if it's his car, it likely would not be a new car. So Wedge, for you, it was like watching it like a foreigner because it was not true for you. Wedge, I can see why you didn't like it because the one time we do see Saudi Arabia, it is from like the small, you know what I mean? Like they should do more movies, I think, and like invest in it. Just because the whole time I was watching Wadjda, I just kept thinking like any foreigner watching this without any background would have a very there's a lot of things in there that would leave you with an even more negative view or just a it didn't help depending on how much the person already knows about Saudi, that's for sure. The mother was weak. Yeah, Waj, I see what you're saying. Like the mom, she acted very strong, but in the end, you know. But Waj, do you think at the end of the movie, Wajda's mom would have left her husband? Yeah, Cam, the stuff with the workers is fun. Waj, the other thing I liked about this film, I thought it was funny in parts, especially with the principal and some of the things like the sass of the mom, which I think would have been lost on a general audience. Did you like the principal and how the school was portrayed? I know it, like thinking of it in a small town context, like how accurate do you think the school was? Waj? Richard, it depends on the foreigner. Yeah, it was. It was kind of. But Wedge, it's crazy how much these places are changing. Wedge, what do you think was the most harmful in this movie? Like something that you saw and you're like, you know what? If like this is gonna mess us up. Like, what was the part that bothered you the most? Yeah, so different now. Like Arad is getting an airport. They're getting theaters. I think in like 10 years, it's going to be totally different. And also, Wedge, what was the reaction? So you didn't like it, but like, was it different people's reactions to it, or did people in Saudi not like it where you were in Jeddah? Like, what was? Because I read a lot of reviews on this movie, and everybody was just so, like I felt the reviews were not fair because a lot of them were, oh, such an oppressive place, but like there's hope. But then again, the reason they thought that is because they didn't have that context. So Richard, as a foreigner, it depends. Like technically, as a foreigner, you can walk around how you like. But like for example, when I first went to Arad, I wore the abaya, but I didn't wear niqab or anything. But I noticed I was getting some stares, especially from like I don't know. There's a lot of expats there who are either working or doing something else. So then for me, the niqab became easier because like again, niqab is about it's about the person looking at you. And so it was nice not to be looked at. Her mom, you didn't like the mom witch? Yeah. Do you think in the end the mom like became a little bit stronger? Or you were just like, halas with this mom. I hate her guts. So Wedge, I was there 2018 and then I left end of 2019. So I was only there for a year. And then I moved to Oman. Okay, Waj, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. She loves her daughter, but her life was all about this man. Like she didn't really have a life outside of, you know, yeah. She did give up on her life a lot. It's almost like she was like sleepwalking. And I think that's why her daughter annoyed her, because her daughter wanted to do things and like go out and like become something. But her mom just kept kind of limiting her that way. But Wedge, do you think in the end the mom like like now she starts to care more about her life? Whereas before she was just kind of like passive. But I know what you mean. There was that one scene where her husband is talking to her and she's just sitting on the bed and she doesn't defend herself. Yeah, Wedge, that's a good point because women like her mom, it's not just in Saudi, it's like women everywhere can be found. I guess maybe a criticism would be that it just made it seem like all women are like that there. And you're right, that's not right. But Wedge, how did you think about how like Saudi women were portrayed? Because they are, I don't think people realize how like beautiful they are because they just think they wear a niqab and there's nothing behind it. But I like how the mom was cast. I like how the principal was cast. I don't know, like even her friend, the raggedy friend that worked at the hospital that was flirting with those dudes, saying this is the best job ever. Even she looked cute. Ah, I see. So they she cast people that are Saudi, but they've never lived there. Yeah. So that's a good point to note, actually, because the way the movie makes it look, you think they're actually from this place, but they're not. Yeah, the way they were dressed. Because I don't think people realize like how feminine and how big like looks are. Like people dress better on this side of the world than they do, I think, in North America. Like her makeup was always on point, her heels, everything. Every uptight woman. Yeah. Especially the principal. Like, she was something else. What did you appreciate? This part, I could see there was a problem as well. The whole thing with the principal having a thief, like seeing someone on the side. Like, do you think that made sense for her character? Or do you think that, like, were you just like, why did they add that part? Oh, what was her name? Uh, oh, that one who snuck off with a boy. I'm trying to think of her name now. Abir. But I think Abir, like, she was caught. I don't know. Like, maybe I have to watch it again. I don't think Abir snuck off. I think she passed the note to this boy, and then somehow she was caught because Webster's mom was on the phone and they were talking about the scandal, the Abir scandal, and how much like she was trouble. The note was a get out of school pass. Ah, wait, Richard, did Abir run away with that boy? I thought she was caught. To check. Ah, and that's why she was saying he was a playboy. Also, she ran off with him. Oh, the principal was a true person for sure. Okay. Yeah, the principal was just wild. And I liked her mannerisms, Wesh, like the whole time. She just looked so unimpressed with everyone. And she was so strict. Yeah, it was a number, right? So, Richard, I think Abir was passing on a note to give to this boy. And it was her number, yeah. Because she didn't want to be caught. Also, Wesh, you know women like her. Yeah, Richard, that's what I thought. Like, she was passing her the number to give to this boy, and then the boy would call her, and then maybe they ran off after that, or they were caught somehow. Okay, so maybe she didn't run away. Like, how did the movie portray it? I have to watch it again. But I don't think she ran away. I think they were like caught somehow. P.S. Beloved, that's a good question. So Wedge, I think for kids, it's fine. I don't think anything would be thought of her running around with this boy. Just to have a boy's number was crazy. Yeah. But P.S. Beloved, the way I saw the boy and Wadjda, I don't know, they were having enough interactions, but it seemed like innocent enough. So Wedge, what do you think about Wadjda running around with this little boy? I think it would have been fine because they're kids and kids get a pass, but maybe that's just me. Like I wouldn't have thought anything of it. It's my permission to exit card. Oh, so they were going somewhere. I'm gonna rewind it. Oh, maybe the boy was her cousin. I don't know because Wedge during that election thing, the mom says we can't vote for this little boy's uncle because they come from different tribes. So I don't they were related. Yeah, initially I thought they were like just distant cousins or something, but when the mom was like, "We can't vote for your uncle because we're in different tribes," I clocked that they were not from the same family. But then the uncle's wedding was it that little boy's dad? Different from her dad, not the mom. Okay. So was they were related? P.S. Beloved, that's something I have to check. Yeah, that's the other thing. Women don't take their husband's family name. Yeah, the women they keep their name. So PJ Beloved, it would depend. I think they were related, so it was okay. Oh, that's a good point, Richard. So they can't be related. Because why is she hanging out with this boy? Yeah, because if it was fine, then she wouldn't have thought anything of it. I'm rewatching that scene now with a beer. So the Sabir was with a man. I'm rewatching that scene. Oh, she thought the blood was coming from her. Like she broke her cherry by accident. That's why she was freaked out. And that's why the principal was like, bikes can ruin your honor. Like if you fall on a bike, it can compromise your, I don't know how to describe it. Like the bike can break your cherry essentially. That's why the mom was freaked out. She's like, "Oh my god, did you damage yourself?" I mean, it does happen. Like sometimes people do have these accidents and tear something they shouldn't. And that bike looked really old. That's true. She walked up to that guy with no fear. She was very comfortable just passing him the note. I'm watching that scene again. Okay, yeah. So as Wedge said, maybe the mom trusted this little boy, but if the father caught them hanging out like this, running around, she'd definitely have a talking to. So I'm watching that scene again with a beer. So she was caught. That's what. So when I watched the scene again, so it seems like Abir was caught by the religious police somehow. That's the implication. And then Wajda's mom was like, "We should have married her off long ago." I think I'll do a review of some point. Wedge, I'm gonna message you on YouTube in the comments if I have questions, just to make sure it's culturally sensitive. Okay, guys. Any last comments, concerns? Oh, Wedge, yeah, thank God it's not a thing anymore. It was so ridiculous. It was very unserious. And the thing is, like, a lot of it just couldn't be enforced. But Wedge, the cars were funny. I don't know how they were in Jeddah, but in Arad, they had like an eye. And so you knew it was the religious police. And it was just funny. Okay, Wedge, I'll say my opinion. And I'll base it on my experiences. Like, I'll put pictures and things just so. Wedge, what about the son thing? Is having a son paramount? Like, was that accurate? Would he have taken a second wife to have a son? Just old people. But Wedge, how important is having a son? Maybe nowadays not that important, or maybe still important. Or you're saying not important. Okay. Yeah, and he didn't remarry anybody, right? So I feel like he left. The dad left because he wanted to leave. Wedge, do you think Wedge's dad just kind of said this something to get remarried, like as an excuse, or was he serious? You're right. I was having this conversation with someone, and what would you do if your husband took a second wife? And she's like, honestly, I would divorce him. I would kill him. And that's the thing. Like, what's this mom look like? The type where she could kill him, but she never did. Especially over some boy. Like, absolutely not. And okay, so he'll be killed by everyone. He wouldn't dare. A house full of 5 women. It's like, I dare you to get remarried. So, P.S. Beloved, I think the son thing is a generational, as Wedge said. Like, it would be important to old people. Cam, that's a great comment. I think we definitely have to rewatch this. This is my second time rewatching it. I need to watch it a third time. And I think this will be a fun review. Because I don't think this movie should be watched in isolation. Like, you do need somebody to give you some context. Shit, he didn't ask for her. Yeah, he didn't ask for her permission. That's the other thing. He just took it. He just took the second wife without. Because doesn't the first wife have to say yes? Because the husband was looking for her at the end, which implies that she was not okay with him having a second wife. It's not logical even in Islam. Exactly. Yeah, so P.S. Beloved, his justification is not sane. Okay, guys. The mom made herself. Oh. Oh, Richard, good point. That's why he couldn't contact her at the end. That's good, yeah. Like, he definitely did not have her blessing. That's a great observation, actually. Okay, so for some families, the son is important. Oh, I see what you mean. For the girls, the kids will have the family name. The girls' kids will have the husband's family name. But the son will keep his family name, correct? Also, P.S. Beloved answers your question. So if I have it, Yeah, Wash, thank you for the information about the name thing. So my understanding, as you said, so the son could be important in terms of like his family name. Ah, like my kids will have my husband's family. Ah, okay. But you will keep your family name. Okay. What a family name will do. Yeah. But you know, Wedge, that's a good conversation to have because you have to admit, like, family name goes far. Because, you know, is it accurate to say, like, because in Wadjda, there was a part about elections, and she was like, well, we can't vote for you because you're not in our tribe. Like, all towns, like, they do have, like, there's a family that name that would be more than another family. Like, I don't know, is that fair to say? Or is family name not? Like, how important is family name? Like, on a scale from 1 to 10. Yeah, big family. Yeah, like like the last name would. There'd be so many people from that tribe in that town. For racism. Oh, interesting. Like expand. What do you mean for racism? Like in terms of? Oh, so PJ Beloved, that's a good point, which just made. Some people will decide if you're Saudi or not, or a good person or not. So it's a way to discriminate or give reason as to why someone might not be good enough. It's like a racist justification. Like it's a way to exclude someone automatically. That's a good point. But Wedge, this is true, I think, in many parts of the Middle East, where the last name is for racism. Like it can, it's an indicator. So you can use it as this indicator to kind of judge someone before even talking to them. Yeah. So I think this point is true in a lot of countries about the last name. Diabolical. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, Cam. Even families. Right, you'll have like 100, like, for example, here Al Balushi, where in the city that I'm in, like, you'll have like so many of them in one. I don't know, like not just in a class, but in an area. That's true. Like, how can you differentiate between all these people with the same last name? It's like you get typecast according to your last name. Yeah, it's a very, very weak justification to keep somebody from a job or from getting married or. Yeah, which I think this last name thing in a decade or so, like I think younger people have clocked that it's not right. All right, guys. I think this was our best conversation we've had thus far. Cam, Richard, PJ Beloved. Oh, thank you, Wedge. Wedge, one of my students found my brilliant friend, my recaps, and I was shocked. He was like, he likes Italian, and he was looking up the show, and I'm like, you watch it? Thank you, Wej. I haven't read the books, but I will this summer, and maybe I'll do a video comparing the books and the show. But thank you, Wej. Yeah, Wej, thank you for coming, and thanks for your insight. Like you really help. You really you added some life, because it's one thing for me to say it, but it's better if someone from Saudi, you know. Wej, you gave us some facts. And also, Wej, if you have any recommendations, just, you know, give it to me on the channel and I'll consider it. But thank you, Wej, so much for the information, guys. Thank you. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. And I'll try to put out this review very quickly, just so like it'll be fun. All right. Thank you, Cam. Yeah, it's now 8 a.m., 8:18 a.m. in the morning. Bye, guys.